Well, I'm happy to say a word of goodbye and thanks to Father Jim Bowler. I've known Jim since 1965. That was the last time we lived together. And over all those years, we've maintained some contact, but it was such a blessing when 3 years ago we were able to get together again and get him to join us at St. Peter. Jim has done so much here, and so many people are grateful. He is really an expert internationally in the spiritual exercises, in Ignatian Spirituality, the Ignatian path to God. And the very core of what we are about as Jesuits is helping people find God in their lives, in their ordinary human experience. And Jim has done that for so many people, and he's also began new programs that will continue after his leaving. So a great debt of thanks to Jim personally for being such a wonderful companion and Jesuit over the last few years, and on behalf of a parish which has benefited so much from his wisdom, his dedication, and just his goodness. So I'm happy that Jim's new assignment will allow him to continue this ministry of the exercises, and maybe be freer to do even more than he's been able to do at this point. So Jim, we're sorry to see you go, and you'll be leaving us very soon. And so we pray that the Lord bless you and keep you, that the Lord let his face continue to shine on you and give you peace, give you strength, give you health, and continue to bless your great gifts of helping other people come closer to the love of Christ. God bless you, Jim.
I met Father Bowler shortly after joining the 20s and 30s ministry core team when I moved to Charlotte 3 years ago. From my early days on the core team, Father Bowler always brought a welcoming and friendly attitude to every meeting, and has effortlessly guided our ministry while also giving each person the opportunity to develop their own leadership skills. Through my transition to chair of the group last fall, I have gotten to know Father Bowler better, and will sincerely miss his wisdom and optimistic outlook that he has brought to our ministry. I have witnessed over the past year Father Bowler's commitment to our group and this church. With his support, I have grown as a leader, and he has allowed me to appreciate new perspectives and ways our ministry can grow and serve our church and community. Our monthly masses have grown to be an integral part of our programming, thanks to his support and guidance. Father Bowler has also helped me deepen my own spirituality. Earlier this year, I had expressed interest in participating in the Ignatian Encounter program, and Father Bowler connected me with my spiritual director that I still meet with today. Father Bowler, our ministry has grown in so many ways thanks to your wisdom and guidance. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors and hope you will come back and visit us soon.
I met Father Bowler shortly after he arrived on our doorstep when I was looking for a spiritual director. So I met with him for probably a month or two, and he suggested that I consider the spiritual exercises, or the 19th annotation. The spiritual exercises is a program or exercise that takes about 10 months. The participant agrees or covenants to read 45 to 60 minutes a day, read, reflect, and pray. And we're actually following a program or an exercise that St. Ignatius developed almost 500 years ago. After that, I continued with Father Bowler for spiritual direction once a month, and about a year passed, and Father Bowler said, what about becoming a spiritual director? Well, and actually, all through that year, Father Bowler said, have you ever considered being a spiritual director? And I would emphatically say, no. One time I finally said to him, you keep asking me that, but here I am, 2 years later, about to start my third year in the Fairfield University's Spiritual Direction Formation Program. And that's my story, but it's the story of many others in the parish. You know, Father Bowler has contributed to the journey to go broader and deeper here at St. Peter with Ignatian Spirituality. He came to us from Fairfield University, Ignatian Spirituality Center, where he was the director, and actually he was instrumental in founding that Spirituality Center. So when he got to St. Peter, he really hit the ground running. Over the past 3 years, he has met with 21 individuals as they journey through the spiritual exercises. And again, he met with them every week for an hour. He also initiated after the exercises, because once you finish, you have this yearning to do something else. So there are 28 individuals involved in that. We meet monthly. One of the members of the group actually designs and facilitates our program every month, and it's based on Ignatian Spirituality or liturgical season, whatever that participant is moved to do. In addition to the spiritual exercises, he actually also met for spiritual direction with 58 individuals. So he met at least monthly with another 58 individuals over the past 3 years. Sitting in the office sometimes, I'd see his office, it would be like Grand Central Station with just directees coming in every hour on the hour. At least that's the way it seemed to me. So in order to broaden the Ignatian experience for our parishioners, Father Bowler started the Ignatian Encounter. Now, the Ignatian Encounter is something I say you taste or test drive a spiritual director. It's an 8-week directed prayer experience where a parishioner gets to meet with a spiritual director one-on-one. At the end of each session, and I think we've had about 4, we have a closing session, and to hear the 98 seekers and their experience, it's heartwarming, it's amazing, and it really warms my heart because that these people have grown closer to God in just an 8-week experience. So we can't replace everything that Father Bowler has done for us, but the other thing he has done, he has given us that little nudge, 5 of us, to answer that call. And 5 of us from St. Peter's are in the Ignatian program at Fairfield University. We are already meeting with directees as part of the program, and in 2 years, all 5 of us will have our spiritual direction certificate. So again, myself, but many, many others in the parish, and people not in the parish, have experienced Father Bowler's kind, gentle experience of spiritual direction. And we really do appreciate that he journeyed with us on that. And I would like to just wish Jim all the best on his next journey at Campion. Thank you, Jim. We really appreciate all you've done.
8 or 9 years ago, I came down to St. Peter's to do a weekend workshop for the Ignatian team on the 2nd week. And my mind was kind of blown by the quality of people there. There must have been between 20 and 25 people in the room. And it was a wonderful discussion. And I remember I had a whole text prepared, and I didn't follow it. I went in and started taking their questions on the 2nd week, and that was the whole dynamic. And it really went well. Then the next day, I went to the 10 o'clock Mass, and I had never seen, it was just a magnificent liturgy. And even the quality of the bulletin, I remember bringing it back to the parish where I went on a regular basis, which was a good parish. And they said, well, we couldn't even begin to afford this type of bulletin. But there was a seed planted in me at that time where I said, this is someplace I think I'd like to come. And so 4 years ago, when Father Shea contacted me about coming, it wasn't really a yes or no, because I didn't have to discern that much, because it was in the back of my mind to come here anyway. And that's what materialized. And almost 4 years ago, I found myself here, and it's proved to be just a wonderful experience in my priesthood. To begin with, for many years, I've gone out on Sunday to parish to celebrate the liturgy, but celebrating the liturgy here was just something absolutely different. I mean,
I think the music, how well everything was organized, plus the quality of people worshiping in the community and the way they sang, the liturgy was just an absolutely energizing event for me. And then I was amazed at the number of people seeking spiritual direction, desiring to make the 19th Annotation retreat. That was just as much as I've done spiritual direction and 19th Annotation work over the years, the quality of people, mainstream America, corporate America, who took advantage of this experience, was just, a privilege for me to accompany them. And then the response, starting the 20s and 30s group, and their response was incredibly rich. And then some of that splintering off into the contemporary leadership program, is laying a sound foundation for ministry to the 20s and 30s, and something about our church with which young people can identify. So I would say that my 3.5 years here, from the point of view of strictly priestly things, have probably been the highlight of my priesthood, and I'm, incredibly grateful for that opportunity. In some ways, I say God saved the best to last, but and that's not writing off a lot of the other wonderful things that have happened in my life. But St. Peter's is a special place. In many ways, if I have to leave, I'm glad it's time to leave. You turn 80, it's time to begin to slow down. But given the pandemic and how that's affecting parish life, it helps leaving. That's kind of a selfish way of putting it. But my hope and prayer is, that when the coronavirus wanes, this parish will really come together to restore what it was, to restore the quality of community, especially the quality of worshiping community. And if that quality of the worshiping community, which is so extraordinary, returns, everything else will begin to fall into place. This parish is so important to so many people in not only Charlotte, but the surrounding vicinity. And it's going to take everybody working together to bring it back after such a, how many months of this pandemic has really had its hold. So I thank everybody at St. Peter's for just 3.5 very, very rewarding years. And I know I'll be back periodically for a couple of weddings. And I'm sure with many of you that our relationship will continue in one way or another. God bless.
Take, Lord, receive all my liberty. My memory, understanding, my entire